The earliest inhabitants of Japan likely arrived from mainland Asia thousands of years ago, so it's no surprise that Japanese art has a long history of Chinese influences. Many foreign techniques were adopted and developed locally with a unique character. By the late 19th century, Japan opened to the Western world. At that time, some tried to categorize Japanese art as a single style. However, Japanese art is incredibly diverse, and each historical period has its own characteristics and prevailing forms of art. History of Japanese art. The study of Japanese art history is commonly divided into periods, which often correspond with important political or social changes. Let's look at these different periods one at a time. 1. The Jomon period, circa 10,500 c. 300 BCE. This is the start of Japanese history. Society evolved into semi-sedentary lifestyles and early architecture started, as pit houses wooden structures became common. Pottery developed and was decorated by pressing cords against the clay. The decorative marks are known as Jomon. 2. The Yayoi period c. 300 BCE c. 300 CE. New immigrants arrived in Japan from Korea and China and brought wetland rice agriculture. A simpler form of pottery developed along with techniques for making copper weapons and bronze bells. 3. The Kofun period c. 250 to 538 CE. The feudal system began during this period. Burial architecture was very important, and huge mounds were built for the elite. These structures are known as kofun. Pottery also developed according to social status, and elaborate and better finished pieces, known as su-ware, were created for the wealthy. 4. The Asuka period 538 to 710. During the Asuka period, Buddhism arrived in Japan and had a large influence on the arts. Religious sculpture became important, usually in the form of wooden pieces. Many Buddhist temples were built and paintings were made for transmitting religious knowledge and decorating the temples. 5. The Nara period 710 to 794. This period started with the establishment of a new capital near modern-day Nara. Buddhism expanded across Japan, and Chinese architectural elements like the grid layout for the city and elevated eaves and roof tiles were adopted. Other arts were deeply influenced by Buddhism, like sculpture and scroll rolls, long manuscript with religious teachings. 6. The Heian period 794-1185. This period started when Heian-kyo, near today's Kyoto, was established as the capital. It was a time of peace. Arts and culture developed in the city, but the provinces were left unattended. Religious art focused on sculptures of Buddha and paintings representing the universe mandalas. Lacquered pottery, bronze mirrors, literature, and calligraphy were common among the capital's elite. 7. The Kamakura period 1185-1333. The Kamakura was a feudal period with military families in power, a political system known as shogunate. Buddhism and samurai warriors dominated the culture. Artwork consisted mostly of religious paintings, realistic wooden sculptures of religious figures, and military metal objects like armor and swords. 8. The Muromachi period 1336–1573. This period is named after the area of modern-day Kyoto where military leaders established their residence. It was a time of constant conflict and military architecture developed, particularly castles, of which many were built. Arts were influenced by China, especially in the form of monochromatic calligraphy. Both religious and secular painting were also important. 9. The Azuchi Momoyama period 1573–1603. Most of the country was unified under a single government. Castles and Buddhist temples dominated architecture. Pottery continued to be locally produced, although imported pieces were preferred. Painting was important and many representations of animals, birds, and urban scenes were created. 10. The Edo period 1603–1868. There was political stability but also strict rules governing most aspects of life. The country was closed to foreign influences, so local styles developed. Painting was very important, especially woodblock printings made by carving images on wood and then stamping them on paper. The images usually depicted trees, landscapes, and women and remained a popular artistic tradition for centuries. Let's watch this reference video that connects to Japanese art history and development.
Ukiyo-e. Ukiyo-e are handmade prints that enable printers to blend their favored bright, sharp colors with contours done with sumi ink on the printing block. This genre thrived from the 17th through 19th centuries. Its artists produce woodblock prints and paintings of female beauties, kabuki actors, sumo wrestlers, scenes from history and folktales, travel scenes and landscapes, and flora and fauna. Origami. The goal of origami or paper folding is to transform a sheet of paper into a finished sculpture through folding and sculpting techniques. Practitioners discourage cutting, gluing, or markings on the paper. It is made not only as toys or for decorative purposes, but also as a way to express kindness and love to someone if this is given as a gift. Different shapes correspond to different meanings. This requires patience and skills. This art can actually elevate your interest to create aesthetically pleasing objects out of simple paper. Komadori. Asian theater includes the most sophisticated face painting designs in the world, such as the Komadori makeup tradition of Japan. The metamorphosis of a kabuki actor begins in his makeup. They call it face making or face preparation, and helps transform them to become living special effects that help present the story. The functions of Komadori makeup are to capture and project the expressions of the actor in enhanced form and to externalize the inner persona of the role through a design that responds to the actor's features. Architecture. Much in the traditional architecture of Japan is imported from China and other Asian cultures over the centuries. A distinct feature of a traditional Japanese house is the way in which it is open to nature. The main materials used are wood, earth, and paper, and the construction spreads out sideways rather than upwards. The interior normally consists of a single room at the center called moya. Inner space divisions are fluid, and room size can be modified through the use of screens or sliding doors. The roofs constitute half of the size of the whole structure with slightly curved eaves that extend far beyond the walls. Manga. Manga books and comics are generally printed in black and white and cover a variety of genres and subjects that appeal to both sexes and all ages. The word manga comes from two Japanese words, man, which means imaginative or impromptu, and ga, which means picture. Anime. Anime is hand-drawn and computer animation originating from Japan. Anime, a term derived from the English word animation, is used in Japanese to describe all animation, regardless of style or origin. In addition to original works, anime is often adaptations of manga, light novels, or video games. Bonsai. When it comes to horticulture, the Japanese have the art of bonsai making. It is the art of cultivating ornamental shrubs and trees, artificially dwarfed so that they seem like replicas of big trees. Bonsai literally means plant in a tray. Bonsai trees are commonly found in Japanese gardens. The color of the container is normally simple and neutral. This is to show how the Japanese value simplicity and extreme respect for nature. Culinary art. The Japanese are also known for their culinary art. They love half-cooked dishes such as sashimi and tempura. They also have sushi or small cakes of cooked rice. These rice cakes are rolled and either filled or topped with prawn, crab sticks, and other ingredients. Aside from the flavor, these dishes are also presented in a very aesthetic manner.